Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode in our Oxygen Not Included series. We are checking out our rocket here on Watano. We have about 129,000 kilocalories of food left, which means we have a little over 100 cycles before our duplicate starts to starve. So I still want to get a little more out of him here at Watano, and I'm going to let him finish building the infrastructure for when the rocket comes back before he leaves, and a few other things I'm doing down here. I have finished cleaning out this area a little bit, and this geyser is now pumping out. There's polluted oxygen there we're going to have to deal with later, but right now I'm not going to worry about it. I could put in a airflow tile to let that out now, and it would just go into the water and get out, but I'm just going to wait until we get rid of some more water and then deal with it. It's not going to mess up with this because it's just such a small amount. Gas, I think it should be fine. It'll all pressurize into one corner, letting this go. If not, I can just turn this hydro sensor on manually to pump the liquid out once it starts to fill up. Worst case scenario, it just overpressurizes the room and the cool slush geyser stops making polluted water, which is fine. We don't need it right now. Anyway, Garfield's just cleaning up some stuff down here while we wait for some other things to get done, and he's going to do some work on that rocket. But while we're waiting for him to get that stuff done, we're going to go check out our main colony. It's been a while since we checked in on everything, and I want to get looking at our rockets. Because last we left these, we were waiting for them to get refueled and get built. So I'm going to check out the interiors here. They're all in various states of being ready to go. So this is Mining Rocket Alpha. This has water in it. This has the gas in it. It has food. We didn't put any supplies in it. Let's take a look at Mining Rocket Alpha is which one? How do we have these set up? Mining Rocket Alpha. And obviously we've named that Mining Rocket because it's the one that can go do the mining. So this one is ready to launch. What's our crew here? Hayes is our pilot. We have no destination set. It's got plenty of fuel. It's only got a small gas canister. Is that going to be an issue? I don't remember where we were at with that. Let's do some tests with it. So what we want to do is set a destination for this rocket. And this one is mining. Oops. Clicked on the wrong thing. So we need to pick a place to go mining with it. Let's do one that's fairly close, just so that we can do some testing with that gas. So now we're all set here. Let's set this to crew to get our pilot to board. And then we're going to go through our checklist. Obviously the checklist here is complete. We're all good. I know we have enough fuel. We have 32 tiles of range. We have oxygen in. We don't have as much as the rocket we sent off to Watano, but we're not hoping to have this rocket out for hundreds of cycles. We want to have him out for 32 cycles, and that's it. Maybe less, maybe more, but not a huge amount more. But what we want to find out is while he's out doing his mining, are we set with having enough oxygen for him to be okay? As far as the interior goes, this is set to vacancy only. It's enabled. So he'll come in, he'll take his suit off. We want to set Polk has custom access. We want Hayes to be able to come in. Polk was the one that we had set custom access because he was our artist who was doing this. So now the only person who can come in and out here is Hayes. So he did. Okay, he's all set. He has this. We're going to set this as to not grounded so he can use all the things in here. Okay, so we're all set as far as that goes. Let's launch our rocket and see what happens. Checklist is all good. Begin a launch sequence. So what we want to keep an eye on is what his oxygen supplies are like while he is off on this mission. And so we're going to check on the star map. What we can look at. Let's pause it just so we can make sure we know what we're doing here, because it's been a minute since I've done this. Okay, so there's the rocket. Now let's pause it. Okay, so if we look at the gas cargo canister, that shows us how much oxygen is left in there. So we want to know per cycle how much he uses. So it's going to take him 1 cycle to fly out to the sandy ore field. And that's why we're doing the one that's so close, because if this starts to drop super fast, then we can just send him back and he'll be fine. I think that this is going to use this up much faster than I want it to, and so then we're going to have to use a larger one. But we'll see. Let's let it go for a few cycles and we'll check that out, and let's head back to the main colony and check out our next rocket. So this is Explorer Alpha. This one is set up with the larger gas cargo canister, which is good. Problem is it doesn't have any battery because of the setup. So I think that this one I wanted to experiment to see, can the solar panels just keep the systems in here powered while we are handling things in space. And as far as power goes, the only thing we really need for power is the Atmos suit dock filling back up. And I don't think that'll be a problem too much. The problem is we do need a constant supply of power for the filters to work. And so right now, gas isn't being filtered through here. So I think if we don't have power, we're going to have a buildup of carbon dioxide while he's in space. So what I'm wondering is there a way we could set this up where we cut the power to this will still need to get power. This will still need to get power, but we don't need to cut the power to go to here while we're in space, because he's not going to be leaving while we're in space. So as far as that goes, let me think about this. We could do a power shutoff, but I don't know that we have anywhere we can fit that in here. There's a spot right there where we could put one. Do we have anybody that can access this? Who is this? Who is our rocketeer here? Who's our astronaut? I don't even know if we have one yet, because this might have been our pilot who is gone. As far as skills from here, Johnson is a pilot, and he is pretty open as far as skills. He's a plumber. McKinley could be made into a pilot, and he doesn't have any skills that the colony is going to be. Let's make him our pilot. And that'll be good. So we're going to make him a rocket pilot. Yeah, that'll be good. That was who, McKinley? Yeah. So let's assign McKinley as our rocket on the, or our person on this rocket. Let's go here. Where are you? There you are. So we want you to be allowed in and out. We want the default to be not allowed in and out. So we're going to have him come in and put this. Let's look at the power setup. So we're also going to need a switch if we do that. So we can put it right next to it. An automation line. And then let's do power conductive wire. We'll run it through here. Down to here. And then this part we can bypass to go like that. And I think what we were trying to do is to make it so that while we're in space, the solar panels would power this up, and that would allow things to store power. But that's something we're gonna have to test and see if it works. All right, let's let all that get built. Go back to our star map. Check on this rocket. So he is currently at. He's not using much. Okay, so it just took it looked like it was going fast at first, but that's because it wasn't cycling back in at first because it has to do that. So we've gone about a cycle. We've only used about 50 kilograms. Let's check out the interior here. Make sure he's doing okay. Yeah, he's happy as you could be. Okay, so we're not going to worry about him for now. Check back on Watano quick. Ooh, we have a blueprint here. I'm considering bringing in a duplicate to live here, but I need to set up home for him first, which also means setting up food. So earlier I was talking about how we would set up a cruise ship to bring some people over, and I may do that as like a one-time thing just to bring people over here to get the colonies balanced. But if I want to increase the colony here, I can just print out a duplicate to get another one here. And that would be fine. Wouldn't be a problem. This water is definitely going down pretty quick now, which is great. Because that's our goal. Once we get the water all the way down... Oh, we had a break-in. That's why the water's going down. Must have been sand there. That's okay. This can fill in. I'll just have to move the pump down farther. I was thinking that I would eventually even this out with the abyssalite layer and then make a way to tap in. I don't know what's below here. So that kind of works in my favor. Now I have the ability to go down there and look. We'll be able to get... If I dig this out, we'll be able to get through there. And then if I dig... or I put a ladder down, he'll be able to get down into here. We'll be able to get stuff out of the lockers and get over here. Let's dig this all out. And we'll let this water flood down in to fill in this office building. And that'll be okay. I wanted to get this water out of here for the pressure anyway. So then we'll just have to move this pump down to this level. And we'll be fine with that. What kind of gases are in here? Carbon dioxide. And oxygen. The oxygen I don't care about. Carbon dioxide we'll have to deal with, but there won't be much of it. And that'll be fine. Okay, so let's go back and check out this rocket. This rocket is... Okay, is he allowed to come in? This is currently disabled. I want to set this to vacancy only. And I want to enable. Set this to priority 9 to see if that gets him to come in here. Unreachable build. McKinley should be allowed to get in here. This is set to 9. What's the errand here? Okay, so Jackson's coming in here to do that. He can do that across the door, so he'll be fine. I think this is going to take a little more working out before I send this rocket out. Go back and check on our star map. Still doing fine. It looks like we're sticking with what I was seeing, about 50 kilograms of oxygen per cycle. Which means if we have 4,000, that's enough for 80 cycles, and we're only going to be doing about 30 to 40 when we're mining. We have 30, so even if we mine the whole way to the edge, where we're flying out all the way, mining, and then coming back, as long as we don't spend more than 10 cycles there mining or so, which we won't, because we'll fill up our cargo pretty quickly, we'll be able to do that, get our return trip back, and never have a problem with oxygen, which is our goal. So we're going to let this go. It's going to come over here. It's going to mine. What do we even get from here? Nothing that we really need, but this was mostly for a test anyway. And then we'll be fine. He'll be able to return home with no problem. So that's a successful test. This one is the other rocket that we were setting up for exploration. The problem with this one is that I think that we weren't sure if this gas cargo canister was going to be able to handle having enough oxygen for us to be able to go far enough. So why is this not filling with oxygen to begin with? Oh, because we don't have anything in here yet. We still need to copy over and do the building for this one. And then the Calypso 5 is the same way. So those two are just, we haven't finished building them yet. Okay, let's check on Watano one last time, see what's going on over here. The water's going down really quick now. It's filling in here a lot. That pressure finally has somewhere it can go. Oh, we don't have a way for him to get over there because of this. So let's do... That'll get him down to here. You know what, let's just cut through here. And then through here. That'll get him over to here. He can build the ladder down and get to this area. That'll let the water flow completely through. That'll be fine. Yeah, I would say the water's definitely dropping pretty quick now. Will not be an issue. I'm very excited about that. Okay, so we're gonna finish up with having this rocket go do some mining. We'll get that one back, get him safe. We'll get this little bit of work done here on Watano, and then before the end of the episode, I'm gonna send this rocket back to our main colony for refueling and picking up some supplies. We're gonna come back and we're gonna start working on building our Watano refueling station pretty soon. Our mining rocket has reached the point where it is full on capacity. Can't mine anymore. Still plenty of gas, oxygen. So that's good. We're gonna go and bring this rocket back. So let's select it, change destination. We're just going to put it in orbit because I want to pick where it lands. And when it gets back, we will land it. Done a few other things while we were waiting on that. So here at Watano, let's start down here. I've just been digging into this area to open up some gas pockets. And I'm letting the gas escape up into the main base. I don't mind that there's a little carbon dioxide. It's mostly oxygen and polluted oxygen, which I already have. No issue. And that's letting the water work its way down in. Originally, I didn't really want to do that. I was going to empty it all, but I kind of want to get the water down lower than this area sooner rather than later because I keep having issues with pressure, and that's from the water on the outside and everything. It'd be much easier to manage without it. This, I was having issues with the pump working because there was gas trapped in here, so I put in some airflow tiles on either side, that way the gas could escape. Once I get this, once we get it sealed and get all the water out and it's just polluted water, we won't have that issue. We'll seal it back up because even though it's polluted water, it won't be able to off gas because we'll set this to only pump when it's above like 100 kilograms or a couple hundred kilograms or whatever, and then it'll never let the water level go low enough to leave a space for the polluted water to off gas, which is what we want. We just have to get it to that point, and we still had some space in there for that to off gas originally, and it messed things up. So I just put those in. It let a little bit of water in, which now we got to deal with, and it let some polluted oxygen out, which will eventually work its way around into the main base when the water level gets low enough. Next, I'm digging through here to let the water out here into this area. We're going to work all the way over, flood everything down to the abyssalite level, and then we'll move our pump down eventually to pump it all back up. So it doesn't matter that it gets down lower because we're going to pump it all up anyway. But that'll just give us some more space, and we can dig up all this tile here for resources. And like I said, we'll get it down to the abyssalite level, and then we'll get it all pumped up. And that'll get us down a little bit closer to see the bottom here. We can see the bottom of the map now, so it's neutronium here. So we have some coal, some obsidian, some iron ore. Nothing too fantastic. I didn't think there would be anything else, like a geyser or anything, but, you know, you never know. This is my first playthrough where I've gone and extensively explored the outer planets, so I'm learning as we go. Now let's go back to check out. First, let's check on this guy. He is fine. He has plenty of oxygen. Our water supplies are dwindling, but that's okay. He still has enough to get him back. So that's good. His food supplies are fine. He's only been gone for a small period of time. He'll be back before we know it. So even on a long trip, I think he'd be okay. I have to check the math on the water. I may need to change this loop so it has more water storage for the long-term flight. That might be one thing we got to tweak. Actually, let's do that right now. So the goal is we want to have water coming in. So if we're going to do a longer storage... Nah, I think I'll have to wait till we're back because he won't let me do any building because I don't have the resources to do it. That's fine. We'll do that when he gets back to land. Last thing I want to check in on is this rocket. So I've been messing around with the Explorer ship, trying to figure some things out. First of all, I pulled out the power switch. I am going to do some things with that, but I'm not going to use a power shutoff because that means me manually doing it. That means I have to micromanage things. And A, I don't like that. And B, that means I'm going to mess it up. Let's just be honest. So I'm rerunning all the wiring so that everything has like an independent space here for when I was messing with the shutoff. So I don't think I'm going to need to do that. I'll just have everything connected. But what I am going to do is I'm going to connect some automation wire from the smart battery to certain things to shut them off at percentages. That way, if I run low on power, we keep the vital systems running, but the non-vital systems won't. But when I was looking at it, I was thinking, if we look at our power, we're using 120 for the Atmosuit dock and 120 for the party line phone. Both of those I could shut off when we're low on power. Not a big deal. The Atmosuit dock doesn't matter when we're in flight because he's not going to be going through it, so it doesn't need power except to keep his suit refilled back up when he gets in and if we take off right away. But we can solve that by just making sure that we send him in and have it completely fill up the suit before we leave. Not a problem. Party line phone is good for morale, but he'll be fine while we're in flight. The mini gas pump, we need to keep the gas cycling so that we don't have a buildup of carbon dioxide on long flights. And the filters we need for the same thing. So the only parts that we need completely are these three, and then the gas output fitting is to pump it in and out. I could shut that off and just use the oxygen that's in the rocket when low power situations. But then I was thinking, I don't think that this is going to even be an issue when the rocket's in flight, because the power generators, we get 120 from the solar panels, but while we're in flight, the hydrogen generator generates 600 watts of power. And I think that'll feed right into our battery and power the inside of the rocket. I never thought about that before, but I think that that's how it works. And so let's look at this rocket and see how the power is now that this is in flight. So if we go to energy, yeah, so we have 600 watts of power coming from the hydrogen engine while this is flying. So when it comes to the explorer ships, the only time that they're not going to be in flight, there's 2 times. One will be when they hit their destination. So like if I send them here, they'll stop. And then I just turn them around, send them back. They'll generate enough power for the return flight, no problem. And then when they're in space dock, which it doesn't matter if they're not space dock, when they're docked at a rocket pad, their duplicates aren't going to be trapped inside of them. So it doesn't matter if those things are running. So I think I can just ignore it. I would like to come up with a solution for it so that it isn't, it works better, but I think it's going to be fine. So we're going to finish doing the wiring up the way I want with the automation and stuff, just so I can mess around with it. But I think that we're ready to try a test run on this Explorer rocket and see how it fares. Worst case scenario, I'll do a save beforehand. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and we have to scrap the idea and come up with a new plan. But I think it's worth trying. So that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do that in the next episode. I've been messing around with stuff so long here that we've done too much time. But today was mostly a experiment around and come up with new plans idea. The next episode we play, I'm going to focus on, I'm going to take a break from Watano and let this just empty out the water while we're working on something else. And I want to bring our duplicate back, and we're going to send him to one of the other ones to start another base setup, or we may send somebody else, give him a break, but get one of these other ones started to be set up. I think that I'm probably going to check out this one. I don't know exactly much about it. It's like a swamp asteroid, so I don't know what we're going to find on it. We could also do this, the Rockazon one. Again, I don't know much about that one. I'm not ready to do Obsidiol. That's way too hot. I don't know how I'm going to even handle that yet. Snowy All, we went and just got some sleet wheat, but we could go here and tackle a few things. There's some volcanoes and stuff here we can get set up on. Obviously Gorgani we're already set up on, and Mumial we went to just to get the gassy moves. I don't know that we're going to set up a permanent base on here. We might, now that they have made some changes to the way that the gassy moves work in the future, but I don't know. So I think it's between Grosselin and Rockazon, and I'm going to give it some thought, and we're going to go to one of those during the next one. But now that we have our mining rocket set up, we can go out and mine some things, get some supplies, and we can start finishing our project of exploring the whole map, which I want to get done before we finish this playthrough. We don't have a lot to do, just a couple of sections, but we had shut down our explorer ships, so we couldn't get it done. And then we can start collecting everything. I want to get the artifacts from space, and I want to get everything coming in from different ore fields and things like that. So a lot of things to still do. So we're going to keep on going for quite a while, I think, in this playthrough. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.